We have all been there. It's that exact moment when the weight of the day simply feels too heavy. When your capacity to be patient, which you so carefully built up since morning, just ends. It's that moment when your human need to just be, to be tired, to be frustrated, to be overwhelmed, wins over your desire to be the perfect parent you thought you had to be. And you know what? That is completely okay. It's the moment when voices might replace words, and the heavy cloud of guilt replaces the warmth of connection. If you are feeling that weight right now, if you are replaying a moment of tension over and over in your mind, please, stay here with me for a little while. We often talk about parenting as if it were a steady, calm river. A predictable path where one step leads clearly to the next. But the truth we all live is much different. It's not a straight line. It's a messy, unpredictable ocean. Some days, the waters are gentle. You feel in control. But other days, the waves are relentless. The noise, the demands, the constant needing from your children. It hits you wave after wave, until you feel like you're barely keeping your head above water. When this happens, we tend to think we are failing. But I want you to hear this. That chaos? It isn't a sign of failure. It's simply a sign of a real, human life being lived. Our first instinct when things get messy is to fight the tide. We demand order. We raise our voices, hoping that the volume will somehow create the calm we so desperately need. We push back against the chaos, trying to force it to stop. But fighting the tide only leaves us more exhausted. It drains the very last drop of energy we had left. We spend so much strength trying to control the moment, that we have nothing left to actually live the moment. What if, just for a moment, we stopped fighting? What if we dropped the anchor right in the middle of the storm? Not because the mess is gone, but because we realize that our peace shouldn't depend on the room being tidy or the children being perfectly quiet. When I stop fighting the mess, something shifts. I'm no longer the manager of this room, trying to force order. I'm just a person, sitting on the floor, sharing space with the small human I love most. Connection doesn't always mean looking into each other's eyes or playing the same game. Sometimes, connection is simply parallel presence. It's knowing that we are safe, right here, together, even when things are not perfectly organized. And then, in the middle of that mess, the magic happens. A toy falls, a funny face is made, and the tension breaks. We laugh, not because the day was perfect, but because we chose to show up, messy and real. This is where the beauty lives. It's not in the finished puzzle or the clean shelf. It's in the quiet realization that you are enough, exactly as you are. And that this chaotic moment? It is part of the story you are writing together. We think that to grow, we need perfect conditions. We wait for the right time to connect, the right mood, the right energy. But just like a flower that grows through the cracks of a sidewalk, connection doesn't wait for perfection. It needs space to be messy. But there is something deeper beneath our frustration. Something that makes the mess feel like a personal attack on our worth as parents. Have you ever wondered why a pile of toys or a loud afternoon makes you feel like you are losing yourself? As we sit here, in the middle of our messy lives, we have to ask ourselves, what is it that we are actually afraid of? Is it the mess on the floor, or the fear that we aren't enough? Let's go deeper. Let's look at where this pressure to be perfect really comes from. Why does the mess feel so heavy? Why do we feel like a few toys on the floor are a reflection of our character? We carry an invisible backpack everywhere we go. It's filled with the expectations of how a good home should look and how a perfect parent should act. We live in a world of highlights. We see the clean kitchens and the coordinated outfits of others, and we forget that behind every perfect picture, there is a real, messy life. We compare our behind the scenes with everyone else's main stage. We've been told that to be a hero for our children, we must never tire, never fail, and never lose our cool. But our children don't need a superhero. They need a human. They need to see that it's okay to be imperfect. Take a moment to look back. How was chaos handled in your home when you were small? Was it met with patience, or was it a source of stress? Often, our reaction to the mess today is just an echo of the rules we learned many years ago. When we get angry at the mess, we are often just trying to protect ourselves from that old feeling of not being good enough. But here is the secret: you are allowed to rewrite the rules. You are allowed to be the parent who stays calm even when the world is upside down. Success isn't a tidy house. Success is a child who feels safe enough to be messy around you. It's a home where the energy is more important than the organization. It's choosing peace over polish. But what happens when we do lose it? What happens when the pressure becomes too much and we snap? We think that the explosion is the end of the connection. We think we've broken something that can't be fixed. The silence after a conflict is the loudest part of the day. It's the space where the messy connection feels painful. But this silence is actually an invitation. It's the moment right before the most beautiful part of parenting begins. Because the connection isn't maintained by never failing. It is maintained by how we come back together. Are you ready to talk about the most powerful tool you have? Let's talk about the healing magic of a true, messy apology. Think back for a moment to your own childhood. How was a mess handled in your home? Was clean the same thing as safe? Many of us grew up in environments where a spill or a broken toy wasn't just an accident, it was a crisis. When you feel that sudden surge of anger today, that knot in your stomach because the living room is a disaster, realize that it might not be about the toys. It's an echo. It's your inner child reacting to an old rule that said, if it's messy, I'm in trouble. But here is the beautiful part: you are the adult now. You have the power to give yourself, and your child, the permission you never had. You can decide that a messy house is simply a house where life is happening. Where creativity is more important than a tidy shelf. Before the scream, before the lecture, there is a tiny window of time. Just 5 seconds. In those 5 seconds, you can choose to surf the wave instead of being pulled under by it. You can choose to see the child, not the mess. But let's be honest, sometimes, we don't catch those 5 seconds. Sometimes, we fail, we snap, we say things we regret. And then, the room goes quiet. That heavy, uncomfortable silence where you feel like you've failed as a parent. We often think that this break in connection is permanent. We worry that we've scarred them. But what if I told you that the break is actually the beginning of the most important lesson you will ever teach them? The beauty of a messy connection isn't that it never breaks. It's that we know how to fix it. Connection is not a state of perfection. It's a constant cycle of break and repair. And the repair, the coming back together, is where the real bond is forged. And then, there is the silence. That heavy, still moment right after a storm of words. You sit there, feeling the weight of your own reaction, wondering if you've pushed them too far away. In that silence, your child is processing too. They aren't just thinking about what happened. They are feeling the space between you and them. They are waiting to see if that space is going to stay empty or if you are coming back. This is the most important breath you will take all day. It's the breath that says, I am the adult. I am the anchor. My frustration was real, but my love is bigger. It's the breath that prepares you to build the bridge back to them. The repair doesn't start with the child coming to you. It starts with you moving toward them. Not as a judge, and not as a teacher, but as a person who is ready to admit that they are also learning how to be human. When you go back to them, get low. Sit on the floor. Be at their eye level. This simple movement tells their nervous system that the threat is gone. It tells them that you are safe again, and that the mess in the room is no longer an obstacle between you. And then, you speak. Not with excuses. Not by saying, I'm sorry I yelled, but you were being difficult. That, but, erases the apology. Instead, try the raw truth. Try saying, "I'm sorry I lost my cool. My big feelings got too loud, and that wasn't your fault." When you apologize to your child, you aren't showing weakness. You are showing them how to handle a mistake. You are teaching them that love is strong enough to survive a conflict. You are giving them the tools they will need for every relationship in their future life. In Japan, there is an art called kintsugi, where broken pottery is repaired with gold. The piece becomes more beautiful because it was broken. Your relationship is the same. The repair makes the connection stronger and more beautiful than it was before the mess happened. Have you ever wondered what happens inside a child's heart during those loud moments? To a child, a parent's anger can feel like a sudden storm in a place that is supposed to be safe. They don't see the stress of your job or the pressure of the clock. They only see the person they love most pulling away. Children often think that if the world is messy, or if the adults are angry, it must be because of them. They carry the mess inside. They think, if I was better, maybe things would be calmer. This is why the repair is not just a nice thing to do. It is a necessary act of emotional rescue. When you come back to them and say those words, "I am sorry," you are releasing them from that burden. You are telling them, the mess was mine, not yours. You are giving them back the right to feel safe, even when the people around them make mistakes. Sometimes, after a big conflict, a child might not be ready to hug you right away. And that's okay. The repair is an invitation, not a demand. By giving them the space to move at their own pace, you are showing them the ultimate form of respect. Look at the mess again. Notice how the energy in the room changes after the apology. The toys are still on the floor. The dishes are still in the sink. But the tension is gone. You are building something new on the ruins of that difficult hour. You are building resilience. But here is the question that changes everything. In 20 years, when your child looks back at their childhood, what will they remember? Will they remember the tidy shelves, or will they remember how you handled the moments when everything fell apart? Let's talk about the story you are actually writing today. After you have said your apology, there is no need to rush. You don't have to jump into a new activity or start cleaning immediately. Just stay there, be a calm presence in the middle of the mess. You are showing your child that you are not running away from the discomfort of what just happened. Your child might start to move closer in small ways. A toy pushed in your direction, a quiet question about something unrelated, or just moving their play a little nearer to where you are sitting. These are their ways of testing the waters, making sure the storm has truly passed. When you see these small signals, meet them with a smile. Not a big, forced smile, but a gentle one that says, "I am here, and I am ready whenever you are." Play is often the bridge we use to cross back to each other after a conflict. It's the language of reconciliation. As the minutes pass, you'll feel the flow of the room changing. The air feels lighter. The mess on the floor hasn't moved, but the weight in your chest has. You have successfully navigated a break in connection and turned it into a moment of deep, authentic teaching. This is the beauty of the messy connection. It's a love that is not afraid of cracks. A perfect, polished relationship is fragile because it doesn't know how to handle a fall. But a relationship that has been broken and repaired 1,000 times? That is a relationship that can survive anything. On the days when the house is upside down, when the schedules are failing, and when your energy is at zero, remember that your primary job isn't to fix the environment. It's to hold the heart. The mess is temporary. The feeling of being seen and understood after a mistake is what stays. You are teaching your child that they don't have to be perfect to be loved. And perhaps, even more importantly, you are teaching yourself that you don't have to be a perfect parent to be the exact parent your child needs. We often think that parenting is about creating a perfect childhood. But the truth is, the most resilient children are not the ones who never faced a storm. They are the ones who knew their parents would always be there to help them weather it. You are not building a perfectly tidy house. You are building strong roots. In 20 years, when your child looks back at their childhood, they won't remember the toys that were scattered across the floor. They won't remember the dishes in the sink. They will remember the feeling. The feeling of being loved even when things were chaotic. The feeling of being seen even when you were tired. A messy connection that is repaired is a million times stronger than a perfect connection that never breaks. You are teaching your child that love is robust. It can handle frustration. It can handle mistakes. This is the ultimate form of emotional safety. By embracing the mess, you are giving your child a priceless gift, the permission to be human. The permission to make mistakes and to know that they will still belong. That they will still be enough. And by giving that gift to them, you are also giving it to yourself. The beauty of this messy connection isn't just about how you relate to your child. It's about how you relate to yourself. It's about letting go of the internal pressure to be perfect and finding the grace to say, I am doing my best, and that is more than enough. Your presence is more important than your perfection. Your presence when you are calm, and your presence when you are messy. When you learn to show up in the mess, you find a peace that no tidy room can ever give you. As we reach the end of this journey today, take a look around your own home. Look at the scattered blocks, the half-finished drawings, and the little traces of life everywhere. These are not just messes. They are the evidence of a childhood in progress. They are the footprints of growth. When we stop fighting the reality of our messy lives, we finally have the energy to enjoy them. We find that the most beautiful moments of connection don't happen when everything is under control. They happen in the transitions, in the laughter after a mistake, and in the quiet apologies that bring us back together. You don't need to be a different person to be a great parent. You don't need a cleaner house or a more perfect personality. Your child doesn't need a saint. They need you, exactly as you are, messy, tired, learning, and deeply, deeply loving. This is the essence of the Human Connection Guide. It's about finding the courage to be real instead of perfect. It's about understanding that the bond you share is stronger than any storm and more beautiful than any tidy room. Thank you for spending this time with me. Thank you for caring enough to look at the messy parts of your connection. You are doing a much better job than you give yourself credit for. Keep showing up, keep repairing, and most importantly, keep loving. Until next time, remember that the mess is where the magic lives. Play, bond, repeat.